Hello and welcome back to my channel. I am Sina and you're watching Coffee and True Crime South Africa. Please like, subscribe and follow my channel. Subscribing is following my channel. Follow me on social media, and I am doing another brutal true crime case that happened in South Africa. And before I get into this case, I would like to give out a brief disclaimer that I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings, trigger anyone, or open any old wounds about these cases. I'm just simply doing them for documentation purposes and to keep the spirits of the victims alive. And in the spirit of Women's Month, I have been doing cases that are crimes against women and queer people. So with this video, I would like to send out another disclaimer that this video involves the decapitation of a human being. So that is something that is very triggering. And if somebody cannot, if you don't want to hear anything about that, you might want to exit out of the video. So this case actually happened in KZN in KwaZulu-Natal in Durban, in an area in Chatsworth known as Shell Cross. And I'm going to start it the same way I usually start my cases, with the timeline of when the body was found and painting the whole picture of how the body was discovered. So on the 18th of August in 2014, while municipal workers were actually working cleaning up a stadium in Shell Cross, they discovered what they initially thought to be a doll that had just been left there in the field. And when they got closer to the body, that's when they determined that this was actually a body of a human being. And at that point, one of them actually went to go and call the office where they work, which they work for, and some of them were actually looking for this head of this decapitated body, and they couldn't find it. And after that, the police forum did show up, and the police forum did determine that since this woman's pants were on her legs, that she might have been working as a prostitute in the area. And after that, the following day, the police did actually release the information of the case. They said that that had been the decapitated body of 39-year-old Desiree Murugan, who had been a mother to a 6-year-old. And at that point, she was working as a prostitute, and she also had a drug problem. And Desiree's family described her as very nice and polite. Her sister even said that she wanted to be a fashion designer before she started working at the hospital. And she actually got addicted after she and her husband got a divorce, and she has been working as a prostitute to feed her drug addiction. And Desiree actually had a 6-year-old son at that point. And after that, the Serious and Violent Crimes Unit in Chatsworth also got involved, and they even promised the family that they were going to recover Desiree's missing body part, and they are going to find whoever did this, and they are going to get them prosecuted. And at that point, a couple of days later, the police actually did apprehend 6 people who they knew that were involved in this incident, in the brutal decapitation of Desiree Murugan's body. And these suspects were underage at that time, but when they stood trial in 2015, their names were actually released. So one of them was Falake Kumalo. There was a boy known as Jimmy. There was Mlungisi Ndlovu. There was a sangoma known as Sivonkaliso Mbili. There was his assistant, a man known as Vusi Gumete, and there was a young woman who was also involved. And after that, one of these people who had been involved in Desiree's decapitation actually did tell the police what happened, and he spoke of a year-long plan that was actually masterminded by the traditional healer known as Sivonkaliso Mbili. He said that in 2013, in June, he had been suffering from a sexually transmitted infection when his brother took him to see an inyanga. An inyanga is a traditional doctor, a witch doctor, a herbalist, a sangoma. So his brother took him to this man known as Sivonkaliso Mbili, and he actually treated his STI. And after that, while they were still there, Sivonkaliso actually did ask them if they wouldn't want to make money, and get him a human head from a woman who was either Indian, colored, or white. And after that, nothing happened at that point. And then in December, Falake Kumalo actually went back to Sivonkaliso to actually tell him that he had been healed. And when he got there, Sivonkaliso actually still wanted to, I guess, get him to do this for him. But he also had other people that he had like a whole group of people he wanted to be involved in this crime. And in December, he actually did say that when he did it, he would actually make sure that they were undetectable by the police. And after that, time went on, and he also skipped to the point of the night of Desiree's murder. He said that on that night they had went, him, Jimmy, and Lungisi and Mbali had went to the Shah Cross area looking for a prostitute. And Mbali actually was, I guess, the person that made Desiree feel comfortable to actually go with these three men. And after that, they told her that they wanted to buy her services and actually paid her 100 Rand. And after that, that's when they went to the Shah Cross stadium where they were, I guess, getting the services they had paid for. They had paid for sex and oral sex. And after, while Desiree and Falake were having sex, Jimmy came from behind Falake, and Desiree could hear that somebody was coming. And then she saw Jimmy with a bush knife behind Falake, and Falake tried to, I guess, press on or hold on tightly to Desiree and put his hands on her mouth so that she couldn't scream. And that's when Jimmy started stabbing Desiree. And when he speaks of the trial, he's like, we stabbed her a couple of times, but the autopsy actually did determine that Desiree's body had been stabbed over 197 times. And after that, they took Desiree's body to this different location where they decapitated her head. And Falake said that Mlungisi actually tried to decapitate her head, but he couldn't fully get the job done. So Falake also helped to fully decapitate Desiree's head. And after that, they said that they went back to Sivonkaliso's house. And when they got to Sivonkaliso's house, he actually met them outside in the yard, and he had a bush knife as well and 2 tin cans. And he asked Falake to actually cut Desiree's eyelashes. And after that, he went on to open up Desiree's skull and remove her brain and put it in one of the tin cans, and also cut out her tongue and put it in another tin can, and asked his assistant Vusimusi to bury the cans behind his house. And after that, Falake said that he left, and he actually didn't actually get paid because he got arrested before he could collect his money. And that was Falake's testimony of the events that had happened that day. And Falake's case was actually the first one to go to trial, and he was sentenced to life in prison. And after that, in the following year, in 2016, Sivonkaliso and the others actually also did stand trial. And Sivonkaliso, the whole time, he did deny that he was ever involved in the case. He said that he was not guilty. He was an innocent man. He knew nothing of what was happening, despite the fact that all those things were found in his backyard. And after that, Desiree's family did get to bury Desiree. And Sivonkaliso's trial also happened, like I said, in 2016, and he was also sentenced to life in prison. But the other people that were also involved did not get a life sentence, and I don't know why, especially Mlungisi, because Mlungisi was one of the people that actually decapitated Desiree's head. from her body. And Jimmy and Lungisi are currently doing 15 years in prison for their involvement in the crime. And Mbali, the woman who was also involved, the judge said she definitely had a part in the crime, and she is currently doing 12 years in prison right now. And I think Vus is also doing 15 years for his involvement in the crime. But yeah, that's it. Please like, subscribe, and follow my channel. That's what I feel like. This was such a sad case, and it like she was killed so brutally. And every single time these witchcraft or these types of like murders happen, in terms of where people just want to do stuff like witchcraft, I'm just like, why? Like, why do people think that they're never going to get caught? Or why do they even think that these crimes are make sense? I never understand why people do that. But I'm very glad that Sibon Kaliso is in jail, because he was definitely the mastermind of this whole thing. But I do feel like most of them, or all of them, should have been doing more time in prison. And I thought this was going to be a long case, but it wasn't. So thank you very much for checking out this very brutal decapitation of Desiree Murugan. And her family did actually bury her, and they were happy with the sentences, with the maximum sentences that they all got. And I guess it's a happy ending if justice is served, even though Desiree will never come back. And yeah, thank you very much. I'm out. Please like and subscribe.